Hello, Paul Lobb with you from the NBN newsroom. And as the Hunter continues to deal with this flooding emergency today, the focus has shifted to the Maitland area, where as many as 3 people remain unaccounted for after a vehicle became trapped in rising floodwaters. And we have NBN reporter Amanda Douglas on the line. She's at the scene to fill us in what's happening. And Amanda, what's happening at the scene there?
Yeah, look, thanks, Paul. I'm standing here on Cessnock Road, which is actually surrounded by water. We've just had an SES boat with specialist police rescue crews on board launch out. They're actually looking for a car which is believed to have been swept off the road as it tried to cross here sort of around 9 o'clock this morning. It's absolutely surrounded by water. It's understood that the car is completely submerged, and police have sort of got some sketchy details. What they're saying is that an elderly driver, an elderly lady believed to be inside the car, tried to actually cross the flooded road here. She may have had a passenger, but her car has stalled and been swept away. Now, it's understood also that there was a couple of people that did sort of go into the water, some bystanders that tried to rescue her. They were also swept away. And then a rescue boat actually launched in to try to help, which was actually capsized. So at the moment they're looking for possibly the elderly lady and maybe somebody else in the car who were swept away, but also they're still unaccounted for most of the rescuers. They're still sort of getting some very sketchy details on who's okay and who's still missing. So very big rescue operation happening here at the moment.
And Amanda, is the water flowing very quickly there? Is it a creek or a tributary? Whereabouts? Could you just describe where it's happened?
Yeah, look, we're just off the main road here.
Well, we seem to have lost Amanda there, but she got most of that information to us, which was good. Now, so as Amanda just told us, an elderly lady believed to have driven her car across a flooded waterway. She's got into trouble. The car is submerged, and some passers-by have tried to help, and they too have got into trouble. So another example of why we really shouldn't be driving into floodwaters. There are numerous flood warnings around the Hunter and Mid-North Coast today. So at this point, we'll introduce Gavin Morris. Gav's here to fill us in on what's happening with the weather situation. And Gav, we've got a lot of flooded waterways today.
Yes, we certainly have. It's been another interesting period. We had another big surge of heavy downpours sweep in across the region, still clearing from the Central Coast, moving further south to Sydney. We'll go to the satellite. Let's take a look at the current situation. We've still seen a lot of cloud here track in across now southern New South Wales, and you can see the low. It's now spiralling around. It's a complete different monster now. It's morphed yet again. It's been an extraordinary system. That huge line of cloud back into the northern tropics, into the northern Coral Sea, still trying to feed the system, but it's clearing from our region, and that overall is good news. In for a look at the radar over the past 4 or 5 hours, there's that last pulse that moved in across the upper Hunter and across the Central Coast, now focusing on Sydney. We've had some sporadic showers move in across Newcastle. Now, amazingly, this is a big danger period when these kind of events occur. At the moment, 20,000 claims have already been lodged as far as insurance is concerned. That equates to about $123 million. And where it's a dangerous period is because a lot of people end up injuring themselves. Of course, out with the chainsaws, etc., trying to move tree branches, etc. So it's a time to be very, very patient. If you think that we're not even at lunchtime on the first day and 20,000 claims have already been lodged, so obviously the phones are very, very busy. SES are bringing in workers from around the state. They've obviously got to make their way over a large area. Everybody's been trying to measure this storm against the famous one of '07, the Pasha Bulka. We had big wind gusts of 130 kilometres on that day. This one we went to 135, and it was over a much larger area from up around Hawk's Nest, Port Stephens, right across the Hunter, into the valley, the Central Coast. So a lot of people affected by this system. The winds were unrelenting, and the rain also was a broad-scale event, probably going to topple the '07, which was more focused over the heavy populated areas stretching from about Dixon Park over Hamilton Hamilton in that straight line out to Wall's End. That's where that big funnel of heavy rain came in, causing the huge flooding and damaged so many houses. So two different beasts, but also very similar in nature to the Big Four, in fact, to 55 and back to the Cygna of 74.
That's right. Of course, yesterday we had the damaging wind and all the rain. Today, the silent danger comes in, these floodwaters. You know, there's potentially snakes and glass and all sorts of things lurking in those waters. So you don't be trying to walk through them, let alone drive through them. $1.7 billion was the clean-up cost after the Pasha Bulka storm for the Newcastle region. Their engineers are already estimating that this could exceed that. So we're in quite a difficult situation, I guess, moving in the next couple of days.
Yeah, and as you said, we were talking to Amanda on the phone there, and she's talking about where she is, the water is actually still rising because there's a huge amount that's still got to move downstream of all those rivers and tributaries. A lot of people just getting the power back on today. We'll have some vision to look back, I guess, on what had occurred, but it was record-breaking rain, of course, across Dungog, and up over the 400 millimetre mark was widespread throughout a number of locations, and all of that has to be cleared over the next 48 hours and probably take a full week at least for all of those floodwaters to subside.
Yeah, many of you still without power, still without water connections in some cases, and Hunter Water personnel have just made their way to Dungog this morning. They've just got through, so they're expecting to send crews to that area today to try and get the water back on, but it looks like many of us will not have power at least through to the weekend, so it is going to be quite a lengthy clean-up. We'll have more updates for you throughout the day. Stay with us on NBN, and we'll fill you in on what's the latest with the weather situation with Gav and also what's happening out there with our flooded rivers.